Man, what can I say? Battlefield 6 was doing so good up until now. They were doing so many things right. They even banned yesterday the obvious fake cat cheater. And now today, well, they completely self-imploded. Now, granted, even without these things happening, you already know my opinion. Battlefield 6 would fail miserably because their margin for profitability is insanely high. There is absolutely no way they get enough people playing in this. There's absolutely no way without selling 100 Nicki Minaj skins they would ever become even close to profitable. Borderlands 4 would probably win Game of the Year before Battlefield 6 becomes even close to profitable. Now, granted, the good part is obviously Call of Duty 7 is a laughing stock and complete disaster. But, well, Battlefield 6 just needed to ruin their own parade.
After developers on their team made some really vile posts about Charlie Kirk, it looks like Battlefield 6 is the next game to have a pretty rough launch because now we're seeing not only these people making statements that are extremely controversial, but to top all of that off, their social media managers have gone over to the Battlefield 6 Steam forums and are locking down any threads and banning people who are saying they canceled their pre orders and they want refunds.
Based canceling. Listen, you never should buy a COD or a Battlefield title on a pre order. My god, you're just hurting yourself. A hard-working husband of 7 wives with 24,000 children who has only -3 nanoseconds to play a game every day. I understand your plight, even though I don't share it, but you shouldn't pre-order, my dude, okay? Pre-ordering literally as a customer gives all the power to the company that typically hates you, dislikes you, and mocks you quite openly. And as we can see with Battlefield 6, yeah, on point.
Because this is unacceptable behavior. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider
Fan reason. Very nice.
supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, we've always known that there are a lot of activists within the video game industry, and they're people that really hate gamers' guts, but over the past couple of days, we have really seen that amplified. And honestly, I'm not that bothered by it. And I say that because I am perfectly fine with these people taking their masks off and showing us who they really are
True.
because it just makes it so much easier to ignore their products and to not support them in the future and really to call them out every single time they do something controversial. But unfortunately, that also means that games that looked like they were going to come out and be really good have to be ignored now. It's like with Ghost of Yote. I know that there were still people out there who were saying maybe this game itself will actually be half decent. I know I was on that bandwagon for a long
No. Again, Ghost of Yote is completely cooked. At least I think so, because even if you just look at it at a game from a game alone standpoint, if you completely ignore probably the preachy woke story that we're definitely getting, obviously, well, the gameplay just looks awful. It looks awkward. It looks like you have absolutely no power behind everything. It's just bad. It just looks painful.
time saying, I'm still going to play it, even though I don't like Erika Ishii, and even though I'm very skeptical because I thought the first game was so good. Well, the second game can't be that much worse, but at this point, I have no excitement, no interest. It's over. And
Good.
Battlefield 6 is another game that so many of us were looking forward to. It looked like it actually was going to rival Call of Duty this year. Maybe Activision Blizzard was going to feel a little bit of the sting, and they were not going to make as much money potentially, but now there are going to be people who are going to boycott this game because of the controversial statements made by their developers, which I totally and completely understand why people would not want to support it at this point. And to make it even worse, not only is this person now making
By the way, at this point, saying something like this and getting fired is already going to be bad for the game you worked at. Saying something like this, being non-apologetic, and then the company you work at supporting you openly is gonna get you completely destroyed. Completely destroyed.
These statements, but one of their social media managers or whoever runs their Steam forums are locking down any threads discussing this situation, so they're silencing people. So this was a screenshot from Smash JT. Brian Audette said some ideologies are so repugnant that they don't deserve debate. And what Charlie Kirk engaged in was not in good faith. It was inflammatory
Wow.
rhetoric designed to foment the kind of violence that took his life. Spare us your center-right pandering governor, responding to Gavin Newsom's post about it, which I think is so funny to see all of these people basically eating.
Wait. Dude, the left is now destroying Newsom? Ain't no way. Ain't no way. AOC 2028, boys, let's go.
Themselves alive. They are
Dude, AOC is actually gonna be the runner, isn't she? There's no way. Because, I mean, Newsom's never making it. Let's be real. Everyone knows that. He's fake, he's boring, he's stupid. It's pathetic.
are not united at all whatsoever, which really highlights the problem we are seeing not just across the world, but especially in the United States of America right now. We are so divided, and it is so sad to see. And sure, I do think that part of that is politicians, right, who thrive off divide. That also is
All
the
of
fact
it,
that we are
maybe?
having to see so many mentally ill people take to social media and continue to divide people, and they're not getting the
Oi, don't attack Hassan and Destiny. They're doing God's work. They're such useful idiots. I personally love those two. They are so ridiculously extreme and unlikable. They are gonna poison their own movements without any recourse. And they are the two biggest talking points, talking heads. What am I supposed to even call them? They're the biggest two personalities when it comes to the online left, and both of them are completely batshit insane. Obviously, they're great, useful idiots. Okay, I want them to stick around and keep around. I'm watching a Disney video every 3 days at this point because it's pure comedy gold. Like, the insane rhetoric that gets spewed and is absolutely unapologetic, disgusting, deplorable human behavior, and then scratching his head and thinking, how do people not agree with my viewpoints? It's peak cinema. It's literally peak cinema.
help that they really need. I think that it's a kind of plethora of issues, but we are seeing so much of a divide right now. And I did think that it was funny. Somebody who would generally agree with Gavin is now attacking him, but this person, Brian Audette, a game designer, is really just again highlighting such a major problem we are seeing in the video game industry right now. If you are not 100% aligned with these people, they will attack you, they will belittle you, they will try to silence you. They cannot accept the fact that human beings are not always going to agree on everything. I'm sure there's plenty of people in my audience who don't always agree with me. We wouldn't always agree with each other, and that's perfectly fine because we don't have to agree 100% on everything. Now, you think
Well, there's a massive difference between disagreement and blatant mental disorders.
the one thing that human beings could agree on is that murder is
I'm My opinions often are not shared with a lot of you watching, but that's fine because everyone understands that these opinions are not insane, that there's at least some reasoning, even if you don't fully agree with it, that, justifies at least kind of having an opinion. But this is different. This is just different.
bad and
There's no excuses for this.
death is bad, but not in this case because so many people like Brian are laughing at the fact that this happened and saying he got what he deserved.
The left is unironically getting unified because they promote violence. The company, the party, the people of peace, the ones that have moral superiority over me, you, and everyone else. The party of kindness. that's somehow piling up bodies in a corner. Truly, the party of kindness. Oh no, we're the nice ones. We're the unradical ones. We're the decent people who just try to constantly do political assassinations, and now they succeeded. Good on you. Good on you. The party of kindness for sure.
Served, which of course is absolutely disgusting. He's not viewing Charlie Kirk as a human being. He's only viewing him as a political commentator. And they can't put their politics aside for 5 minutes to actually see, wow, it's pretty bad that a commentator got assassinated over his opinions. But he's basically sitting here saying because he did not engage in good faith conversation and debate, he deserved to die, which is so far from the truth. It's a mind-boggling. Charlie Kirk was actually a pretty moderate guy. I mean, even look at the way that he talked about Erica Kirk. He said, I'm a moderate compared to her. And now that she's, running Turning Point, it's going to be fascinating to see the approach that she takes. But he did argue in good faith. He did debate in good faith. He was a pretty decent guy. I mean, again, I don't agree 100% on everything that he ever said or did, but I would never sit here and laugh at the fact that somebody was killed over their opinions. And Brian Audette is, and boy, is he getting absolutely wrecked for it. And now he's costing his company money. Now, do I think that Battlefield 6 is
And again, he's probably not going to get fired or anything like that. That's the best part. They're going to keep him around because it's Activision. No, wait, no, this is not Activision Blizzard. Who the hell owns Battleflop 6? I don't remember at this point. Doesn't even honestly matter. Like, we know that this company is clearly with objective. You know how half of the Battleflop 6 cast looks and whatnot. You know they are afraid to do a lot of things because of people of a certain kind breathing down their necks. Pathetic.
going to be a major failure? No, probably not. Same way I don't think Yote is. Yote had a pretty moderate budget at $60 million. Or at least right around there. And there are a lot of people who don't pay attention to social media. There are.
There's no way Yote was $60 million budget. This is the... It was probably 150, 200. Okay, let me actually tell you exactly how much it was. Ghost of Tsushima budget. Ghost of Tsushima budget. Total cost 60 million USD. That's Ghost of Tsushima 2020. Ghost of Yote is a minimum 150. If you have a successful game, your next budget for a game is gonna be probably roughly double. So Ghost of Yote is most likely, 150 million, I would say. Because keep in mind, all the facial animations following all of that garbage probably costs 2 million alone to do. And there's people saying, wait, no, facial scanning costs that much? There's no way. It's not that expensive. That's because you don't really understand how expensive it is, because you don't understand the costs that come in that, okay? First of all, you need to hire a crew of people who actually understand facial animation and all of that things. There's shooting, there's reshooting, there's getting a location where you can actually do this, because you can't just do it in your office. There's hiring an actor, there's reshoots for the actor, there's casting for the actor. There's so many things that come into having something as stupid as facial motion capture. That's literally probably 2, maybe even 3 million if you need to reshoot it and whatnot. You need to lease the equipment. You need to get the software. You need so many things. So many things need to be done just to do that. It takes time and it takes a lot of money. So you're telling me Ghost of Yote is gonna be 60 million? There's no way. It's gonna be 150 million minimum. That's how these things work. 150 mil minimum, 100%. Because again, so what? 5% of the budget of Ghost of Yotei just went into facial capture. There's no world where that's true.
A lot of people who don't pay attention to politics and a lot of people that just don't care. But at the same time, they are going to make less money than they initially expected to. And what makes this situation even worse is the fact that gamers are being silenced over their opinions. Now, I had initially seen this post over on X saying you've been banned from the Battlefield 6 community hub. One of your devs on Blue Sky said Charlie's rhetoric led to the violence that took his life. Fire them, and they got banned. So I did a little bit of digging. And at first, it doesn't look like they're silencing anybody, right? On the main page, it's pretty tame, it's pretty calm, but then you actually start paying attention to the posts that are being locked down, and well, it speaks for itself. Canceled pre-order. I normally don't pre-order games. I also don't normally involve myself with forums either. I decided to in this instance, and in light of recent developments, I've canceled it. The order is already refunded within a
Is this a dev right there? Because Jesus.
few hours of requesting a refund. And then they explained how to get a refund, and we're not talking about any
Wait. I want to see what the comment there is. Okay.
how to get a refund.
Og, thanks for sharing. As a note, I don't add a comment and leave that blank. I refund game all the time. I never I'm never an issue. No idea what this is.
Fund, and we're not talking about anybody fighting. Nobody's, saying absolutely vile things to each other. It's not an argument.
Oh right, Battlefield was EA. I completely forgot.
It's not a war zone, but womp womp womp. The topic has been locked. Heading over to the next page. We have canceled my pre-order. Locked down. Was excited, but now it's on my non-binary list. Locked down. Just removed it from my wish list. Locked down. Anyone?
Yeah, well, this is gonna obviously implode on them. And by the way, if you think these conversations are important, like and hype the video if you're a mobile device. That would be greatly thankful. It only takes less than a second, and it helps me out tremendously. Thanks for everyone who does this. And if you think that these things are important that we talk about, that more people need to hear this, well then definitely like and hype the video, because that will guarantee that more people see it, 100%. So, thank you already. And in any case, that was Mommy Very Dark, 10 out of 10. Bye!